As an expert in the field of clinical research, Dr. Tatenji once shared the story of one of her Cameroonian patients, Celine. That woman was left to her own devices once the trial she consented for ended. By analyzing the content and the validity of the following scientific sources, I will be able to answer my research question, which is the following. How does the offshoring of clinical trials in developing countries affect the affect ethical issues such as the informed consent of research subject or the circumvented access to healthcare? This global issue is particularly close to my heart as I aspire to uh, become a clinical researcher. During this project, I have had the opportunity to learn a lot about the challenges that I may face one day. This video initially um, allowed me to position myself in relation to this global issue insofar as it was the first source of information that I consulted. The main idea of the video is really to raise awareness about the many challenges experienced by developing countries who are being taken advantage of by pharmaceutical companies. For example, I've learned that foreign researchers were asking for the written consent to people who couldn't read. I've also learned a lot of new words and expressions. The first one is antiretroviral therapy, and this expression simply refers to any treatment aimed at alleviating HIV-related symptoms. A second word is endemic, and this word is used to describe a disease which is highly prevalent in a particular region. For example, HIV is an endemic disease in South Africa. The third word is litigation, and this word refers to legal actions. Now I'm going to do a critique of my video source in terms of its validity as a source of information. Before initiating postdoctoral studies, Dr. Tetenji graduated from the medical doctoral program at a well-known university in Cameroon. Since she is unarguably an expert in her field, this source meets the first criterion. Furthermore, Dr. Tetenji doesn't have any financial interest in this awareness campaign. However, she is Cameroonian, and it is perfectly normal for her to defend her homeland. Given these facts, this source provides biased information. Since Dr. Taitenji is a highly educated woman, she might provide facts based on reliable sources and reliable studies. The content quality is then um, unmatched as her vocabulary is professional and scientifically correct. This source exceeds the temporal limit as it was recorded 11 years ago in 2012. So we cannot say that this source meets the fourth criterion. As explained in the previous section, this source really helped me to grasp one side of this issue uh, related to my research question. Reading this article, I inquired about a different point of view on this global issue. Dr. Aguilera and other bioethicists argue that overly strict or misdirected regulations may put off international investors. It is not something that is desired, as clinical research and clinical trials are extremely beneficial to developing countries when well conducted. It's important. I've learned that bioethicists, who are the most qualified people discussing this issue, um, thought that any economic proposed law is absolutely unjustifiable, and I quote, policymakers should determine first whether the regulatory protections are prima facie ethically defensible. I have also learned about Peru's legislative system. Bioethicists report that, and I quote, Law 20.850 goes beyond no fault compensation by stipulating that once the injury is confirmed, it will be presumed that it was produced by the study. Now I'm going to do a critique of my article in terms of its validity as a source of information. Dr. Aguirre, Dr. DeGrazia, and Dr. Derrida are bioethicists, bringing a point of view guided by ethics and philosophical study. They are extremely qualified to give their opinion on this global issue. This source does meet the first criterion. In the article, we can see bioethicists taking a step back in order to give a more thoughtful and objective answer. Knowing that this study was funded by the Clinical Center Department of Bioethics, this source is certainly unbiased. The content quality of this article is unmatched as it is based on 59 different sources. This very recent study was originally published in 2020. It then fulfills the last criterion. As explained earlier, this source really allowed me to grasp the other side of this issue related to my research question. In conclusion, I had to avoid many biased studies funded by pharmaceutical companies. Furthermore, the situation in developing countries is poorly documented. To answer my research question, the offshoring of clinical trials in developing countries may affect the well-being of local population and their fundamental rights. Thank you for listening.